Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to the Guarneri podcast. This is episode 23. So, we've been going over some Celtic practices in the last X many podcasts. So, today I have another one for you. And it's one of my favorites because it's fun as well as anxiety reducing. And I call it being a musical bard. So, as we've discussed in the past, there were three different types of druids in the Celtic culture: the bardic druid, the ovate druid, and the druid. And it was not a hierarchy, they were all equal. Just each of the three types of druids had a different focus. Their job or the area they covered was different, but they were all equal. So the bardic class of druids, they were highly respected and considered the keepers of the oral tradition. Remember how I said that for most of the Celtic society's time, they were an oral tradition. Things were passed down from one generation to the next orally. You heard it and had to memorize it. Pretty crazy. They must have had great memories and great memory tricks or something like that. So, like I said, each type of druid had certain responsibilities. The responsibilities of the bardic class was preserving and passing on the stories, myths, and legends of the culture, composing new works of poetry and music. And at one point, they were even the deliverers of the law, of the Brehon laws, because they can memorize all the laws. And if it had a local bard, they would do it, or bards would travel from town to town, and they would basically hold court. They were like the judges, and they would adjudicate um, different claims people had against each other. So that's really cool too. So the bardic tradition, it involves combining spiritual and creative expression. And they do that as a means to connect with the nature and divine. Nature is divine. And some of their expressions, examples, poetry, music, storytelling. And it's actually interesting. One of my Irish family lines, the surname is Daly. And that's a long and well known family name of, guess what? Of bards. Daly was the first chief poet of all of Ireland, and they were very well known for their poetry and were in different royal courts across Ireland. It's really interesting. I don't have it with me right here, but I actually have a whole book of poetry written by Dalys through the ages. It's pretty cool. Um, no, and I'm very proud of that heritage. It's funny, even where my Dalys come from in Ireland is actually their ancestral homeland, in County Westmeath. Back then, the part they were in was called Corca Adav, and Oliver Cromwell had made a statement that when he was going through taking all the trees down, saying he left one tree standing. That way, if the leader of the O'Daly's ever comes back again, they have a tree to hang him from. So, pretty interesting. Sorry for the digression. I like telling interesting stories and tales. So, what are the benefits of being a musical bard? Well, they're great. You get to experience a range of mental health benefits and level up your mind. And it sounds like a general statement, so let me give you some specifics. It can give you a sense of purpose and meaning, and that can be important for people struggling, with anxiety. That purpose to learn an instrument, to play it better, to learn certain piece of music. It shifts your focus. And who doesn't like music? I mean, I'm sure there's some people who don't, but there's so many types of music out there in the world. There's got to be something you'll find, something that gives you an earworm that sticks in your head. Well, by playing an instrument like 15 minutes a day and learning a song, that's your earworm, hopefully distracting you from some anxiety. It can alleviate feelings of loneliness and isolation. I think that's definitely true. I know during the pandemic, I had a lot more time in my hands, and I picked up my guitar and, uh, and I whistle sometimes, more often. I think the full year of the pandemic was the year in the past 10 years that I played music more than any other year. So we don't need a pandemic to do it. 15 minutes is all it takes. If you wanna play longer, that's great, but you do 15 minutes a day every day. Don't just say, "I'm gonna do, an hour and a half on the weekends," or something like that. No, you gotta do it every day. It's a commitment of 15 minutes, and you can experience a greater sense of calm and focus, which also helps reduce anxiety. I mean, think about it. Music can be calm. You have to be focused on the music you're playing. You have to know the notes and the rhythms and have to have the right feeling. You wanna play soulfully, you don't wanna just play mechanically. And also, it helps you create, um or more develop. It helps you develop a greater sense of self-awareness and self-worth. Because when you learn that first song, it's like, "Holy crap, I learned a song. I can play it for people now. Cool. I'm a musician." So, you get that feeling of self-worth too. And even if you're already a musician and you know how to play, you have a portfolio of songs you can play. But when you learn that next new piece that's a little bit harder, you'll be like, "Wow, I can play this harder piece." So, music is definitely a good way, a wholly natural way to reduce anxiety and depression. We're not Jimi Hendrix here. We're not taking all different types of psychotropic drugs when we play our music. Straight music. It's all the drug you need. So I'm talking about instruments. There are going to be some people out there who are musicians and have an instrument, or who aren't very good at an instrument and put it in the closet. But the point is, if you are a musician already and have an instrument, just do it 15 minutes a day. It's not going to kill you. Put down your phone for 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes less of scrolling through TikTok or whatever other app you use. If you want to play, but you don't have an instrument or don't know how, I have the solution for you. There's an instrument called the Irish whistle. Now it's the Irish tin whistle, and is extremely cheap. You could pick one up for less than $10. I suggest you start with in the key of D. It's a little bit easier to play because each tin whistle will tell you what key it's in. And as an example, I don't have an actual metal tin one with me. I have kind of like an epoxy resin one. This one's a bit more expensive. This is called the Wild, and it comes from McNeil Music in Dublin, Ireland. This is kind of heavy. This is really a nice whistle, better quality whistle. But you don't have to get something like that to start. Get a regular actual tin whistle. Telling you, less than $10, and usually when that $10 you get, it comes with a little music book or something. And all these things assume you know nothing. They tell you how to play and tell you about the notes and the note lengths and the rhythms. Get yourself a tin whistle, a tin one. And if you really want to go crazy, because I know when I practice my whistle, if dogs are around, they howl along with it, and I really don't need any accompaniment when I'm trying to learn something for myself. So I have something here that's called the Warble. This is a MIDI controller. MIDI controllers can be anything. This one's in the shape of a tin whistle. And what I do is in the bottom is a little pluggy thing, and I plug it into my phone, and I download an app. I forget what it's called, synth something. Basically, you're downloading the music tones. If you're really interested in that, I can give you the information on contact me. I can give you the information on the Warble and the app I use for it. Now, the guy makes these like by hand, so this is nice, good quality stuff. And every time I hook it up to my computer, it tells me there's an update available. They're constantly updating the software. I mean, you can make this sound like any instrument. You could make it sound like a piano, so it's fun to play with. But the benefit of it is going MIDI controller going to my phone. Got an adapter coming out into my little headphones. I can play till my heart's content and no one knows and no one's bothered. But that's if you're really interested in it, if you want to go down that route. But for now, just get yourself a tin whistle. They're fun. And it has the benefit of being easy to learn and the journey of being hard to master. So, you can have some fun initially and you'll have that drive to keep getting better and better. So, that's what I have to say today about being a musical bard. Do it. I am. Peer pressure. All the cool kids are doing it. So, I just want to remind you again, if you haven't done so already, please head over to MikeGuarneri.com, link in the description as well, and sign up for my email list. I'm going to be sending out emails in the near future about some great things going on, things I'm doing um, that I think you'll really like. So please head over to MikeGuarneri.com. If you've already registered for my email list, thank you very much, and you'll be hearing from me in the near future. So until tomorrow, stay well.